Momoshiki is stopping Boruto from using his Shadow Clone Jutsu. It's the only explanation as to why he hasn't used it. He's not in control of his karma, so therefore he can't control Momoshiki yet, and therefore, if he uses his Shadow Clone Jutsu, there's no telling if Momoshiki will actually take over the Shadow Clone's body, and by then, who knows what kind of damage he could do by then. So, it's kind of a mystery as to why he hasn't used it. Although he could just recall it, but it's kind of hard to... I guess it's kind of hard to figure out like if it's worth releasing the technique or not. It's weird. It's a little bit weird. But there's definitely a reason why he's not in multiple places at one time. Because if that were the case, he could or there's the possibility that if he uses the Shadow Clone Jutsu, he can't use the Flying Raijin as precisely as it's just him. Do you know what I mean? It's probably using a multiple layered jutsu like that, you know what I mean? First he has to do the Shadow Clone Jutsu, then the Shadow Clone Jutsu has to use the Flying Raijin, and he's already not as precise with it as he would like to be. I don't know, I feel like maybe we're just looking at baby steps right now. Maybe these are like alternatives that will be used in place later on. So while he might not be using it now, that doesn't mean he won't use it in the future. But there is, I feel like, a little bit of a possibility that Momoshiki is a bit of the reason why we haven't seen him use that technique. Haven't seen him use that jutsu, especially because it's kind of like his, it was his signature technique. And now, I guess you could say the Flying Raijin is more useful than the Shadow Clone Jutsu, but I would say in this particular instance where he's being hunted down by Jura, and he himself alone cannot go over there, maybe it's best for a Shadow Clone of him to go to multiple battles at one time and help out wherever he sees fit. You know what I'm saying? I think that's like, tactically that's what I would do. That's how I think it should be done. But there's no reason why he shouldn't be unless Momoshiki is a part of the equation. It's always Momoshiki. He is always ruining everything. Literally everything, he ruins it. But that's the interesting part about it. And can Boruto control it? If he can't control it, then that means absolute ruin. And I am interested to see what happens when that takes place. When it happens, how it happens, what kind of transpires after all of that. You know what I'm saying? It's like the Incredible Hulk. You know what I'm saying? It's like everything's okay when he's Bruce Banner. You know what I mean? He can still be a scientist. He can still have like friends, so to speak. But then once he turns into the Hulk and starts rampaging, now things are getting... That's where consequences and everything starts to... Kind of like the duality of man. You know what I'm saying? But in this instance, Boruto has an alien kind of living inside of him and wants to take over his body. So we'll see how things turn out on that front. So anyways, Momoshiki's stopping him from using it. So what are his alternatives? If he can't use the Shadow Clone Jutsu, I would say... Honestly, I think he might resort to just... He'll probably just jump in. Those are his only options if things get too critical or too dangerous. He's going to have to jump in and join the fight. I think I said this in another video. Probably Kawaki will jump in. I think that's the other alternative. That's the better path, because then he'll get to show off his new strength from Amado, and then we'll be able to get like some good action out of it and see how he pars with the Shinju. So that's kind of where we're at with it. But since Boruto can't be in the story, he kind of has to hold back right now. Those are what kind of limits him, I think. That's just an idea. But what do you guys think? You know what I'm saying? Do you think that Momoshiki's keeping him from it, or is it kind of like a strategic move? Like, oh, he could do it, but let's keep him back from the story. Is that kind of like a missed opportunity, or something that will come up in the future? So let me know what you guys think in the comments. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching.